TCT presents Public Report, a look at the issues and events of importance to our viewing area. Now, here's your host.
Hello, welcome to TCT Public Report. I am Richard McCorkle. I am your host for today, and I'm joined by my lovely co-host and wife, Crystal. How are you doing?
I am doing great.
You excited for today's conversation
yes,
around the table?
Yes.
This is great. We've got a real special guest today with a very, very powerful organization. We are joined by Wake County Deputy Sheriff Robert Mitchener, and he's the founder of Our Youth Matters, a very, very powerful program that is happening. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here.
Awesome. So what exactly is Our Youth Matters?
Well, Our Youth Matters is basically a 501c3. It's a nonprofit. It's an organization that helps the young kids. We go into the community. We do summer camps, after school programs, weekend academies, breakfast symposiums. We also mentor to the young kids and check up and make sure that they are doing well in their grades and their behavior in school.
Wow, and how long has that been happening?
It's been going on about 7 years now.
Okay, wow.
That's great. And where did you get the vision from? How did this spark?
Well, basically, when I grew up on the south side of Raleigh, and when I grew up, someone had to help me.
Okay.
And it was people that would sponsor basketball teams, give us uniforms and things of that nature, to keep us busy, and that kept us out of trouble doing sports and things of that nature. As I grew up, I had also another mentor by the name of Lynn Barney, a professional NFL player.
Okay.
I was introduced to him and we became friends. And he also took me up under his wing where he would take me around people that was professional people and show me a different part of life.
Wow. Do you think your life would have been a little bit different if these people haven't come into your
life?
life?
It definitely, because where I grew up at, trouble was right out your front door. If these people didn't step into my life to help me out, I probably would have been in trouble or locked up in jail.
Right.
My father was a good provider.
Yes.
He worked 7 days a week. Wow. I didn't see him that much.
Yes.
He rested a little while and went to the next job.
Wow.
So, if these people didn't step into my life to help me out, I probably would have been in trouble myself.
Wow, so he was constantly busy just to provide and so forth.
Right.
And did you have some brothers and sisters at all?
3 sisters.
Okay.
3 sisters.
All right.
But they had their own dealing, cheerleading, and things of that nature, so I didn't hang out with them as much.
Right. And did it help with you finding this mentor? How did you look at him and go, did you feel a hope when you saw him, or were you just too young, or how was that feeling when you met him?
Well, when I met him, he was already, I'm speaking about Lynn Barney.
Yes.
Lynn Barney was also already an NFL Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I met him years ago when he used to play in the Duke's Children Classic. It would be in Durham.
Okay.
And when I met him, we immediately became friends. And the friends, we exchanged phone numbers. And I hung out with him that weekend that he was down here playing in that celebrity tennis. And he showed me things in his room that was given to him, like tennis rackets, clothes, shoes, and it was all because he was a celebrity and played NFL football.
Right.
So he began to tell me that I looked like an athlete.
Okay.
And he began to tell me, I want to help you.
Okay.
So the relationship became from a phone conversation to spending a summer with him at his house in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
At his house, he would take me around to different commercials that he would be featuring in.
Oh, no kidding. That must have been really exciting.
It was great. He would cook dinner, have dinner, and a doorbell would ring, and it would be the Four Tops that would come in the house.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
Wow.
So things of that nature. He took me around people and showed me things that he was doing, and he made me seem like it was real, that I can touch it, I can have it too.
Wow.
All I had to do is apply myself to receive it.
Yes.
You know, we had to go to church and pray for things, but he made me believe.
Right.
So he helped me. He
Yes.
helped me, and also when I became a sheriff, the position as a deputy sheriff also helped me too,
Yes.
because I spent approximately 14 years in the courthouse as a bailiff.
Okay.
As a bailiff, I worked with the juvenile court system.
Wow. Okay.
And I was able to bring the young kids in and out of the court system. So I was able to listen and hear the needs and the wants and the cries for the young kids.
Wow. And how long ago was that when you got into the Wake County Deputy Sheriff area?
Are we speaking after my relation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's probably, gosh, when I joined the Wake County Sheriff's Office when I was 21 years old.
Okay.
Wow,
Okay.
very young.
I'm 47 years of age now.
Okay.
So, but I started very young at 21 at years of age. I didn't immediately go into the courtroom at that time, but I would say after about 2 years after working with the Sheriff's Department, I was transitioned into the courtroom.
So when obviously when you saw the whole process happening, the whole system, something must have pulled at your heart to say, I can make a difference.
Well, coming from where I came from, and the people that helped me, it showed me that, you know how you feel that feeling and you care. You know, I just wanted, I felt I cared about. I started caring more about these kids, and I felt like the kids were crying out for help, and it was no one trying to help them.
Wow.
You know, sometimes just locking them up is not always the answer.
Yeah.
You know, one of my summer camps that I did, it was a young kid that was sent to me by, the court system. The court system sent the kid to me, and he was dropped off by his mother.
Okay.
I didn't know that he was a runaway. I didn't know his history. I didn't know nothing about the runaway. So we ate breakfast that morning, like we did at the camp every morning. And once we ate breakfast, he asked could he go to the restroom. Well, he went to the restroom, and when he went to the restroom, he left.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't find him, and he disappeared for a few hours. Okay. And I didn't know where he was at, but his mother was there to pick him up.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, oh, I got a big problem on my hand.
Yeah.
I can't find him. What am I supposed to do? So eventually later on, I told his mother, and she acted like she wasn't worried too much about him, because she knew that he was a runaway, but I didn't know.
Right.
So eventually he eventually came back. And when he came back, boy, oh boy, I let him have it. I let him have it. I let him have it in front of his mother. I let him have it in right there while we was alone. I really fussed him out, laid into him. But I told him, I said, you think I'm going to tell you not to come back tomorrow, right? He said, yes, Mr. Mitchell, I know you don't want me back at your camp tomorrow. I said, no, you better be here on time. And I reached down and I hugged him. And I whispered in his ear and told him, I love you. I care about you. I care about what happens to you. And he started crying.
Oh, wow.
He started crying. I mean, just bawling. So after that, he went on and got in the car with his mother, went back. He was the best camper out of everyone that I had. To this day, I can ride around in my patrol car. And if this young kid is playing basketball, he will actually run the car down just to say, hey, how are you doing? Yeah. This is what I'm doing in school. Wow. But this young kid was my best camper because it's something, he just wanted that love. Yes. He just wanted someone to just show that, hey, he really cares about me. He cares about what happens to me. Yes. And so that's make a long story short. He was my best camper out of there, because anything that took place that was wrong, he would always tell me, "Hey, they are doing this They shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
And he would always come back and let me know. So.
Wow.
That is wonderful. Now, Our Youth Matters, you just had an event, and let's talk about that and all the support that you've received with that. And yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, the event at first it was actually a vision that I had to. I knew that all of my events, things that I do for the young kids, are free. I charge the kids nothing. So where does that money come from? I have to raise that money. Either I have to raise it, sell something, or whatever, get this money so the kids can come free. So I had August 26th, I had a fundraiser at the Sheraton, and it was an award ceremony where I award certain people that was doing great things in the community. Some of the pastors like Marion Robinson, Pastor Wooden with Upper Room, Pastor Andy Thomas with World Overcomers. These are people that's doing things in the community but not being recognized in the community. Michael Phillips, Men at Work. I thought maybe I would bring these people out and award them and say, hey, I'm someone that's watching you also, and I think you're doing a great job in the community, and it needs to be shown.
Wow.
And people need to know.
Right.
Not only am I doing a great job in the community, you also care.
Right. So how, I guess, being a deputy sheriff, you were able to see who was actually making a difference on the street level.
Well, being a deputy sheriff, you're correct. That also helped me also too. But also, I'm from an area that I've always had my ear to the streets. I'm always in the community. So not necessarily the sheriff's department. It's I'm not taking nothing away from being a deputy sheriff. It was great.
Yeah.
It's great. But by me being in the community and being from the community, I was able, and also I have friends that's also back, that's still there.
Right.
And I still visit.
Yes.
My mother's home is still there, which my sister still lives there.
Oh, okay.
So I visit the community quite frequently.
Right.
And my nephews are there, so they tell me stuff, and so I know what's doing. It's people too that's that do stuff in the community that that's still there. That I wasn't able to get around to recognizing,
Right.
but they will be recognized in the future.
Wow. Very good. So what are some of the, other than this young gentleman with the camp, what are some of the issues that are facing our youth right now? What are things that I think that we can do to better steer them in the right direction, for lack of better term?
I think first of all, we need to show the youth that we care.
Okay.
See, what we do in life, we make it to a certain level. And as long as our household is, our kids are fine, your kids in a private school or whatever, going to regular school, they're doing great in school, we don't care. We don't care what's going on outside. I'll tell you a quick story. A friend of mine I grew up with. He's a pharmaceutical sales rep.
Okay.
He would always tell me that when he leave his house, he would drive down the street and it would be this young kid standing at the corner. This young kid would always compliment him on his nice vehicle. He drove a black Mercedes.
Okay.
And he complimented him on his suits and his ties, the way, every day.
Yeah.
And he came back to me and he said, I have this young kid complimenting me on my suits, my ties, and the car all the time. So I said to him, you need to take time out and show him how you got these suits, these ties, these cars. Show him a look, take a time out, just show him some things different.
Right.
And he said, well, I don't have time, I'm really busy, I have to get to a certain location by a certain time. So I said, well, if you don't make time for this young kid, that kid will make time for you. I mean, what I meant by that same kid would be the kid that break into your house, rob from you, steal from you, do whatever.
Wow.
So he said, oh, nothing like that would never happen. I said, but if you take time out with him, if he's in a game, then the house that you live in, they won't touch that house. They might go somewhere else, but they won't touch your house.
Wow. Yeah,
they won't touch your house because he'll make sure, no.
Yes.
You know, he's going to protect you. Well, saying all of that, he never spent time with his kids, showed them a different route.
Okay.
It was probably a week later, the same kid broke in his house.
You're kidding me.
Broke into his house.
Oh my goodness.
So,
my
same
gosh.
kid broke into his house, and he came back and told me. I said, why didn't you take time out with this young kid?
Yes.
You know, you could have changed him. You could have changed this kid. What he was actually doing is reaching out to you and saying, hey, help me.
Yes.
Help me. Show me something different.
Wow.
Help me make certain decisions in life.
Wow.
You know?
Yes.
And he was saying that. But sometimes we forget. We get to a level in life and we forget where we came from, because someone had to help you up that ladder.
Right.
So now you got to come down that ladder to help someone else and pull them up.
Wow.
And the youth are our future. We can't do too much for the crime rate right now. All we can do is just deal with it.
Yes.
But how we can change the crime rate is help the youth for the future, and we can change it.
Wow.
If we spend more time with these young kids.
Wow. And that's all it takes is a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. And I loved how you said that, make time for him. And he could have showed him, like you said, take him on, and God knows where this kid would have gone to.
Absolutely.
And I don't know where this gentleman is now,
Right.
the kid, but that could have produced another entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, because it takes a lot of work to break into somebody's home, and sometimes
Right.
the greatest minds are doing the criminal activities. Well, speaking of that, how is the Wake County Sheriff Department? Are they behind you at all in any of this?
Oh, I have the utmost support from the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department has been great.
Okay.
My boss has been great with me with that. He's behind me 100% with this what I'm doing in the community with the young kids.
That's great. And are they just showing support through just words of mouth, or are they putting stuff?
Oh,
backing you?
absolutely. They're backing me with time and effort and support letters, and they have really done. I was so amazed.
Yes.
They are really behind me with this.
Yes.
I'm working with a good department.
Yes. And one of the things that touched me, how you spoke about your father. It wasn't like your father wasn't there because of reasons that he shouldn't, wrong reasons.
Right.
He was working, busting his behind,
Absolutely.
Yes, he
trying to
was.
put food on the table. But that still is something where this organization can come in, because we hear it all the time, or my mom's not around, my dad's not
Yes.
around. And it could be for
Right.
good reasons,
Right.
But
Right.
Yes.
organizations like this and people just giving a heart, saying, let me just take the time.
Right.
I often say to Crystal a lot, be careful, because there are young ladies looking up at you,
Yeah,
and,
all the
and
time,
same with
yes.
you. And in today's culture, seems to be such a grind between law enforcement and the real world and the streets. But this is a perfect example of
Absolutely.
coming together.
Yes.
Now, what other organizations and things are behind Our Youth Matters?
We have the Healing and Invention with the Yolanda Moore. She's a very also the Sheraton downtown, Sheraton Raleigh.
Uh-huh.
They are big supporters of me. Oh gosh, I can't think right offhand. It's several other organizations that's behind me that helps me. When I first started, I didn't have that many people behind me.
Right.
Times I would ask God, "What am I doing this for?
Right.
Should I do this?" And I had a great friend. I mean, me and this guy grew up in the same neighborhood. We was neighbors, and we fought every day. His name is Kerwin here, I can mention his name. But he's also a deputy sheriff.
Okay.
Wow.
He's also a deputy sheriff, but he's a good-hearted man. And as we grew up, we began to tell our stories. And he told me one day, he's also a minister now.
Okay.
And he's a sheriff also. But I talked to him, and I said, "Hey, I don't know, man. This is rough because no kids are showing up for my events. It's rough. Should I keep on doing this? What am I doing this for?" and he would whisper, he would tell me, keep on doing it.
Wow.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Yes.
And I kept right on doing it, and it grew. So I feel that, that I'm doing a godly walk.
Oh, absolutely.
Not just a walk for myself. It's just a godly walk.
Yes.
And what God has in store for you, no one can stop.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So I really believe that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
And that small inspiration on your part, who knows where these kids are going to give to society and the great things that God's going to bless us with
Absolutely.
through them. And that must keep you going. It must be just a great feeling.
Well, it makes me feel, I get a real big high when I'm able to help a young kid and they excel beyond that, and it makes me feel great. In my past, when I was married, I would have situations where my kids are private school, great, but I would walk out the house to go and help these other kids.
Yes.
But my kids would come along also.
Wow.
My kids would also come along, and they would see that, Daddy really love helping these kids.
Yes, yes.
That, these kids. And well, my kids were supposed to be at the last event, but they wasn't able to be there at this last event, but they would be at the next event.
Wow.
Wow, that is awesome.
And is there any what kind of working relationship do you have with some of the parents of these kids that kind of come through our Youth Matters?
Well, some of the parents also, they will volunteer their time.
Okay.
They will volunteer their time in the summer camps, after school programs sometimes. Sometimes it gets hard, because if the funding is not there,
Yes.
sometimes the volunteers are not there.
Right.
So, my best volunteers have been retired people.
Okay. Right.
So,
Yes.
but it's been a lot of parents, saying, hey, I can, give a day or two or whatever,
Right.
and they will help out in the camps.
And anything helps.
Right.
So the camps, you said that's for just summer, or is that during the whole year?
I do summer camps. I do weekend academies.
Okay.
And I do after school programs from time to time.
Okay.
Yeah. So and I do a breakfast symposium.
Okay.
Excuse me. My breakfast symposium, it may be, I will have professional people like judges, lawyers, to come out, and I set up a podium.
Okay.
And doctors and things of that nature, and I invite the young kids out.
Wow.
Wow, that is
To ask
great.
them any kind of question.
Oh, that's great.
What kind, about politics, whatever question they feel comfortable about asking them. And I have breakfast.
Okay.
It's hosted by the Sheraton.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's a full course breakfast. Oh man, we have a lot of food there.
Yes, yes.
So,
Wow. So these kids get a pretty good glimpse into, because I mean,
That's
I know
really
us
good.
adults will pay money to go, get
Right.
mentored by successful
Absolutely.
people.
Yes.
So what are the reactions are you seeing from the youth themselves? Like how is their attitude about this all, and how do they take all this in?
oh, the youth, they really like it. You get some young kids. Every kid that you deal with, you can't change them. Every kid that you deal with, you got some kids that's in a situation, but they want their help, and so they're happy to see you and the help that you're giving them.
Yes.
But then you have some kids that, hey, I'm just here, and then you do what you can for those kids, but as long as you help, if you can help one out of that bunch,
Right.
Yes.
and you can change one,
Yes.
you have done your job.
Right.
I believe this in life, that, I use this with my kids and my daughters. I have two girls. And I ask them, have you ever seen an anthill? And my daughter said, yes, Dad, I see an anthill. I said, within the anthill is a queen ant in the anthill. But each ant that queen ant has sends them out on a mission.
Right.
And the mission may be to guard the place, bring in food. But the mission, they must complete the mission, and they must stay on track. If they don't complete the mission, they may be killed or whatever.
Right.
Things, something bad may happen. So I let them know that that is how life is. That's what God has. God has given each one of us a mission, a plan in life, a goal, and to fulfill that mission and that goal. So you should follow that goal and that mission and try to make that mission happen in life.
Definitely. Oh, wow. And I'm sorry, but I would assume that even the passive youth, they're still getting some out of it. They don't have to be so, just because you're helping those that you don't think you're helping sometimes.
Right.
That's great.
Right. And, you know, and it's not just actually sometimes teaching them something. It's about, like, I do a fishing trip. And the fishing trip that I do with the young kids is just bringing them around other professional people. You know, sometimes it may just be taking them to a game, taking them out, and showing them something different, not just teaching them book stuff. Just showing them and being around different people could also change them, because they may see something in another person and say, hey, I want to be like that person.
Wow. So where can we help? Where can people go to find out about Our Youth Matters?
They can Google ouryouthmatters.org. Go to ouryouthmatters.org, or they can contact 919-795-8609. Or you can also, my name is Robert Mitchener. You can also Google me, and it pops right on up, everything.
Wow, so, that's great.
And will there be a Our Youth Matters 2018?
Oh yes, it's going to happen every year. Our Youth Matter first annual Black Tie event. It will happen again in 2018.
Wow.
We're just going to keep on going till, hey, like I said at the end of my speech, when it's time for me to meet my Maker, I want God to look at me and say, job well done.
Wow, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for being a guest here. And this is, I know Krista and I talk about this a lot. What a powerful, powerful ministry and organization that's going on, that's truly making a difference. So we just want to thank you for being here. And remember, the kids are our future. You hear that so many times, but you can say that all you want. You have to get involved. And if you can get involved monetarily, get involved volunteering, and just like Robert said, that just stop and talk to the youth, it would be perfect. Thank you very much for joining us on Public Report. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
This has been Public Report. Public Report discusses the issues of interest and importance to our viewing area. Please remember that the views expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of TCT or the station.
Good day. My name is Pastor Mark McKinney from New Life Church in Cary. I want to talk to you about supporting TCT. This is a fantastic ministry. Paul says in the book of Philippians chapter 4, verse 17, not that I desire the gift, but I desire the fruit that will abound to your account. This ministry has great fruit. Look for a place to sow. TCT is producing great fruit in all the earth. So give your best seed to TCT today. God bless you.